All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're here for game number 2 of this PvZ series. That quite the stasis traps laid by this man in game number 1 to secure him that win. In the bottom right, he is Probe. And he faces off against the Red Zerg in the northwest. He is Dinva. But I'm just like, damn, those stasis wards, though. Those stasis traps, though. You know what I'm saying? That's just... Oh, my God. That was crazy. I cannot believe... I'm just like... Oh, my goodness. I never get to cast enough. And... whenever I do, like, tournaments and stuff, it's always like... I don't know. They're like, Nate, you're the Terran guy. Go cast the Terran. You don't know anything about PvZ. But then I cast this game, and I'm just like, God damn, that was nuts. Those stasis traps. I haven't seen a stasis trap grab a whole army like that in a long time. But that was just awesome. It was just really well done. It was just a really well played game by Probe, and very deservedly so. Up 1-0, feeling pretty good about himself. This game is being played on US Central. Now, I believe Probe is playing this from Australia, which means that his latency is very, very, very high. So stasis traps are actually really nice because being able to buy time is great. And Denver playing from Europe. I actually don't know where in Europe is Denver from. He's probably got pretty bad latency to US Central. So basically what I'm trying to tell you guys is, for anybody that's interested in this type of data, since I think it matters, I'm just going to tell you because I think it matters. Both players are actually playing with a pretty reasonable amount of latency. Unless, of course, I'm wrong and like Denver's like, yeah, no, I live in America now. Or Probe's like, yeah, I'm just chilling in Mexico and I actually have pretty decent ping. But yeah, we'll see. Stargate opening again. Link speed is on the way for Denver. Probe with his Probe scouts wants to see that third base. And he's on his way. He's on his way. He's right there. He's going to scout that third hatchery. He knows what's going down. Says to himself, ay, ay, ay. Just important to know about this kind of stuff. Chrono's out the Stalker. And you'd think, hey, maybe deny scouting. But Denver says, I'm going to commit. I'm going to commit so hard. This isn't just like swiping right on a scout. He spent $2.99 to super scout. He's super like this main base with that Overlord. And yes, it cost him, but he now knows for sure that this Oracle is not interested in him, as it is halfway done. So we'll see how many drones it can microwave as metabolic boost completes, and the Zerglings try to take a little bit of a map presence. One Stalker in the wall is actually not going to do super well against that. Gotta bring the Adept home. Bring him home and block it up. And we'll see how many Spores Denver builds to start this off. Just one per base, very standard, nothing crazy. Unless you see that second Stargate, right? Which, it's within the realm of possibilities. We've already seen it a few times today. Not out of a European, or excuse me, not out of an Australian. But anything could happen. The best thing about StarCraft, still the #1 reason why I love StarCraft and I love commentating it, is I am constantly surprised and amazed by the things that I see these players do in these games, even in fun off online cups like this. Not that there's nothing at stake, but for most players there isn't. The ESL Pro Tour, if you don't make it to the top, what is it? It's like, I think it's money for first place, maybe a little money for second, and then I think you get 10 ESL Pro Tour points for winning and 5 ESL Pro Tour points for second place. So it's really all about first and second. So for a lot of these players, you're coming here, you're grinding, you're getting good experience playing against pros in a setting where it matters a bit, but you also have liberty to experiment and try something fun, do something exciting, you know, and don't have to worry about, oh my God, this is my one shot. No, these tournaments happen every week. You, random citizen in Twitch chat, I think you need to be Diamond or Master League to sign up for them, but very attainable goals. Come here, get clapped by one of these fantastic players, and maybe learn a little bit more about this beautiful game we call StarCraft. The Oracles are on the hunt looking for some snacks. I'm gonna grab 2 drones and then do the skedaddle. 3 hit points of real damage done on that Oracle. Man, doesn't Probe suck? Lol. That's a joke for anybody out there who takes everything literally. Charge and +1 attack are on the way. Overlord got to see the follow-up, got to see everything. This is nice, not because it's like super shocking. I think only 2 oracles. You're not really thinking that they're trying to pocket double Stargate Phoenix behind you, but you know, we've seen stranger things than that before. Probe's really good at getting his observers into people's bases, by the way, and having the layer just on the edge of vision. Like, it's so risky to move the observer in this scenario and be scouted, right? So it's actually still good that he continues to use Hallucinated Phoenix, which he did last game as well, because you really just don't want them to see that you have an observer in their base. Being able to just stare at the hive possibility is so nice. But a couple lings. Denver slips into the natural expansion. He's got 2 probes killed so far. He's going to go into the main Templar Archives. Says, oh, nice to be able to see that tech. He's going to dance around, forces more warp-ins inside of the main base over here, which is also fantastic.
Yeah,
we do have this Overseer spotted. I love that, though. He's got the vision of it. If a Protoss or a Terran player don't get rid of it, and you have the opportunity to use that spot, use it, man. Oh, my God. Denver's doing it. I'm going to be sick. Get your motion sickness pills, boys. We're going on a really fast ride all the way across the map under a dark tunnel. Swarm host, Nidus. It's not just for the 2019 gang. Now, this is really important because Probe needs to find wherever this worm gets popped up. He sees the swarm host with his observer. He knows about the Nidus. I don't know if he clicked on it, but it's building on the right side. And he's not going to be able to deny this Nidus worm. That's so huge. He thought it was going to be on the left, but it's going to be over here by the natural. Now the Adept is going to come see it, but he can't really do anything about it. Yeah, get the rest of the swarm host out. I do feel like you want to get all of them out together, but it's all good. He's got other stuff he's focusing on. The first wave of Locust is often the most important. It really sets the pace. It sets the momentum. Being able to kill this robotics facility would actually be pretty sick. They're Locust. It's not a question of whether they will. And now also being able to grab probes. The Immortal's not even trying to fight from a distance, which is a little bit awkward. So 5 probes and a dead robo. Now he has to rebuild. He's going to start 2 robotics facilities. But nothing is even over here because he's chasing down the Overlords, the Overseers. These swarm hosts never even went back into the Nidus worm. Denver has another fantastic opportunity to just drop it like it's hot once more. But see, now the Oracles come by, and that's when you're like, all right, get back into the Nidus. We don't want to, you know, force him to build the worm again. That's fine. We're good. We're Gucci. That stasis trap is going to nullify most of this wave, which actually really, that's a pretty good play by Probe. One of the things he's done very well with so far, using stasis traps. For anybody curious, the Locusts, despite being frozen in time, they still die of old age. Isn't that weird to think about? All right, he's bringing the queens out of that worm as well with the Roach Ravager. So it looks like by taking down the Robo, he said, I've limited your immortal production enough for me to try and get a big main assault onto your base. So Roach Ravager heading over to the 4th base, going to shut that down. The Locust pounding at the natural expansion, picking off a few workers. There's an Archon very close to dying and going to drop some biles like they're hot. And running through it is Probe. He's going to take some very aggressive force fields onto this army. He's starting to mulch through that force, but the natural expansion is also taking a beating. Just locust after locust being morphed in. Now, swarm hosts are pretty expensive. They take a lot of supply, but because of the nature of how the spawn locust feature works, as more time goes by, it just becomes more valuable. I mean, it's just basically swarm hosts are not guaranteed to do damage, but you make that investment, you buy that early stock on the IPO, and you're like, I don't know if this is going to be big, but it could be. And guess what? When the swarm hosts pay off, they pay off big. So he's got the Ravagers putting on pressure on the left side, smites down an Immortal with a corrosive bile, almost getting another one there too. And the natural expansion gutted by the swarm host. How on earth is Probe going to be able to move across the map? How is he going to break out of this contain? These swarm hosts have generated so much value. That's a good way to burn a large part of that wave, getting those zealots to spawn, but it's not enough. Denver takes game number 2. We are going to the rubber match.